Jimmy's journey to Jabberjaw Forest. In a small village near Jabberjaw Forest, there lived a curious little boy named Jimmy. Being the youngest in all of the village, Jimmy was often told to stay away from the dark and gloomy forest. Jimmy often asked,
"Why am I not allowed to go to Jabberjaw Forest?"
In return, the villagers would often say,
"Deep within the heart of the woods, there lives a big and scary monster with razor-sharp claws and pointed teeth."
But even in the warning of his elders, Jimmy always wondered what life was like in the other side of the woods. One day, Jimmy was playing with his ball near the forest. But out of sheer power and force, Jimmy accidentally kicked his ball into Jabberjaw Forest.
"Oh no! My ball!"
groaned Jimmy in shock and disbelief. Jimmy was about to enter Jabberjaw Forest when all of a sudden, the words of his elders ringed in his mind.
"Deep within the heart of the woods, there lives a big and scary monster with razor-sharp claws and pointed teeth."
Jimmy respected the word of his elders, but he also loved his ball. Jimmy had conflicted feelings at that time, but then he decided,
"I'm going to get my ball before someone notices that I'm gone."
Jimmy said to himself. Looking left and right to see that no one was watching, Jimmy entered Jabberjaw Forest under his own volition. When Jimmy entered Jabberjaw Forest, his first instinct was to look for his lost ball. He looked behind a bush, peered over a rock, climbed up a tree. He did everything to look for his ball. After some time of searching and pondering, Jimmy was unable to look for his lost ball. But then he noticed that he was lost as well. Jimmy slouched on the ground over his loss, when suddenly Jimmy heard a rustling over the distance.
"Is this the monster?"
Jimmy braced himself for what was coming, and alas! It was a bunny. Jimmy sighed in relief. He worried for nothing. Yet all of a sudden, a big shadow loomed over him. Jimmy gulped for what was coming. Jimmy turned around, and there he saw a tall and dark figure with razor-sharp claws and pointed teeth. Jimmy was shocked upon seeing the creature, but he was not scared, just startled. He wondered why it was different from the rest of the villagers.
"Is this your ball?"
The creature asked and flashed the ball Jimmy was looking for.
Yes! Yes, that's mine!
Jimmy jumped in glee when he saw his lost ball.
May I have it back?"
The creature gave Jimmy's ball, and joy and relief came upon Jimmy's face. In the midst of his happiness, he slouched back again. Jimmy was happy that his ball was found, but realized he was the one who was lost now. The creature quickly picked up on Jimmy's predicament and said,
"Are you lost? Follow me and I will get you out of this forest."
Jimmy could not believe what he had just heard. With this in mind, hope and joy filled little Jimmy's heart. A big smile was now plastered in his face.
"Thank you, mister."
Jimmy and the creature made a small hike out of the forest. After their short walk, Jimmy was finally out of the dark and gloomy woods. Jimmy could not believe the joy that he was feeling. First he found his lost ball, and now he was finally out of the forest. Jimmy jumped in glee and happiness. While Jimmy was out celebrating his success, the creature, surrounded by fear and hate of the villagers, remained within Jabberjaw Forest. Jimmy quickly realized this. The creature, who was the supposed monster, was not a bad person after all. The villagers were just too quick and harsh with their judgments just because he was a monster. With this in mind and a ball in his hand, Jimmy came to the monster and said,
Mister? Please take this ball. Whenever you feel sad and lonely, you can play with it. And if I can, I will come back and play with you in the forest.
The end. Moral of the story. One must not judge another person according to his appearances or what people say about him, but rather one must judge a person according to his deeds and actions.